Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with match number 4 with the Green-White Warriors. As we like to play first, let's hope for an explosive draw here. We have 2 of the pieces which we like to see in our opening hand. We do not have a green source, but yeah, this is exactly the type of hand that can lead to a turn 4 kill. So we do need a little bit of luck here for the green source. The Dromoka command is nice addition if we get a green source, because it allows us to take care of a threat or just pump up our guy. Evolving Wilds is going to lead to a slow hand by our opponent, but that is exactly where he wants to hit it. So we do need a land next turn. We'll start with the Dromoka Warrior. Again, I wish there was a better 2-drop slot for this, but unfortunately most of them are soldiers. It doesn't quite go with the wolf or the warrior theme. So Prairie Stream and no... Awesome. Okay. Of course a green source would have been preferable there. But the Arashin Foremost allows us to get in here for 6 damage, which is exactly why we run the warrior. So almost an ideal hand. Of course, the Dragon Hunter, not Dragon Hunter, the 2-1 warrior first turn would have been better. The Knight does a good job of shutting down both of these cards. I mean, I'll attack with both of them, have to lose his Knight, and then take at least 4 damage. Well, we hit a land. Unfortunately, it's a plains. So I will attack in, though. This does force out the block on the Knight of the White Orchid. And he should be blocking the Arashin Foremost. And he'll take 6. But that was a green source that would have been lethal, or close to... Well, the Dromoka command would have been able to kill the Knight, and then we would have been able to hit in for 6 more damage, take him down to 5. Very unlucky. But we do have another Dromoka Warrior, and as soon as we hit that green source, we're in great shape. Worst case scenario would be another Knight of the White Orchid. That'd be it, yeah. That is just backbreaking. Cannot catch a break today. See if we can find that green source for, at this point, I think just Den Protector is fine. Because I don't want to be... I don't think I want to be attacking into the Knight here. And the Duskwatch Recruiter is not much of a... Yeah, at least we have some action here with the Den Protector, but we don't have the green source. And I don't want to attack in just to lose a warrior. Stasis Lieutenant pumps everything up. And Dromoka's command does take care of the Den Protector. So attacking the Knight, we have to take the damage. And we missed the green source yet again. Sad that the 2-color deck is having a problem fixing. Reflector Mage. I'm just going to scoop here. There's nothing we can do to come back from it. It's 8 damage here that's coming in that we don't want to block. Next turn we do get the Forest. Insult to Injury. Here, the Tandem Tactics I like a lot in this matchup. Center Soul is okay. Center Soul helps us against Reflector Mages. Stasis Snare and Silkwrap I think we'll bring in because we do want to play more of the control route. And we'll just take the explosiveness down of the Titanic Growth again. The Gryff Spoons are out. The Dragon Hunters and Dromoka's Warriors are both bad in this particular matchup. And then we can bring in Hidden Dragonslayers I think are just better because of the lifelink. And the Center Souls can come in I think the Center Souls are fine. They can give that unblockable. The majority of their cards are going to be green or white, so possibly not. The Center Souls aren't that great. Maybe just Titanic Growth are still better, and they do a very similar function. So he doesn't have a lot of flyers. I'm just go 1 Gryff Boon and then Titanic Growth, and we'll submit this. We are low on the creatures now, but I think this is going to give us some better action. All right, so yes, we'd like to play first. I think this is a very good hand. We have a lot of action with the Silkwraps, and we do have a Fortified Village. Not going to reveal anything, and we'll Duskwatch Recruiter. Hopefully, it doesn't have like an Inspector first turn. Going to be an Evolving Wilds. So the Duskwatch Recruiter is great. We do want to hit lands this time, preferably white sources, for the Stasis Snare. Hate to hit a Declaration of Stone here. Just looks like it is an Inspector and a Canopy. So, unfortunately, we're back to this nonsense. I don't even want to cast this Hidden Dragonslayer. I don't want to Silkwrap that. It's just going to have to flip, and I don't want it to flip. Well, there's plenty of Hidden Dragonslayers. We'll just cast one. So once again, these draws. Another land will allow us to start pumping out the Duskwatch Recruiters. A Knight does not get in value. At least that's nice. That's the good news of hitting or missing land drops. We will just play a Forest. This way we can actually find some more cards out of our Duskwatch. But as we saw with the last time we played this matchup, it gets awkward as time goes on. Wonder what he's trying to cast instant speed here. Dromoka, okay, Dromoka's command, fights it off. He hits a counter on the Knight, which is okay, because now we can Silkwrap it. And cast a Duskwatch, so we'll do that. I'm okay with making this trade because these get more powerful with the Thassa, or not Thassa, the Thalia's Lieutenant. Collector Mage gonna come out here. Collected Company main phased. So he wants to find, I'm sure. See, there's the Thalia's Lieutenant. See, it would have got a lot of value there. I'm really okay with that trade now. He had a 2/3. Get in there for 2, that's fine. Arashin Foremost is still awkward. I think I'd just rather morph over a Dragonslayer. Not ideal, though. Would like to hit some land drops and then start getting some value out of the... I think the way to take this deck, though, I don't know. I think that this Bant version is just superior to what we're trying to do with Warriors. Again, this is not anywhere near budget, though. I think we could make a budget list similar to the deck. See if a Silkwrap comes down. I'd hate a Silkwrap on a Duskwatch. But as far as like 1-drops, I think in the metagame right now, Throbbing Inspector is just better. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a blowout. So the Dromoka's command comes down. We have a lot of similar cards, though. Unfortunately, I can't block any of these. Land would have been nice. Unfortunately, I think we just have to let this flip. That gives us a way to block. And then we can Stasis Snare. on the pacifist. But yeah, pretty much, I think we're done. All right, I think we're dead here. He's going to sack a clue. Collected Company probably also is another inclusion in this deck just to keep up in the card advantage. The 2-drop of Night is just superior. There's a lot of things. Okay, that's perfect. I do want that card because we will Stasis Snare it. He still has 3 cards in hand. Another Knight. Doesn't get him any value, but gets the Lieutenant. Does flip back my guy around. I am going to Silkwrap the Lieutenant. So I guess we're not out of this yet. Still not looking good, though. Another Coco? No, just a Gryff Boon on the Inspector. Hate to use this right now, but we need to kill off some of this damage. Yeah, the flying in first strike here is rough. The Arashin Foremost can allow us... I can't flip over my Duskwatch Recruiter. I think actually flipping over my Duskwatch Recruiter is the best thing to do because then he can't attack him with his Knight. But then we'd have to find a way to fight off the Inspector. So I'll just let this flip. Get a Den Protector here. But we're at the mercy of any Reflector Mage or just the Inspector. We can Silkwrap it, but then he can just cast it on the other card. There's a Pacifist. And we'd need some way to take care of the flying creature on his turn, which I don't, since it is just having the 3 power. We get back the Silkwrap, you can just cast it on the Knight. And there's nothing. Can't morph over a guy. With Hidden Dragonslayer, plus we wouldn't be able to get the lifelink. Yeah, we need a Silkwrap. There's no way for us to draw into a Dromoka's command, which is the way we would combat this. There's no way to give anything else lifelink. So this is just a game. This is awkward. We gave it another try with this deck. I'm too disappointing playing on a budgets in a row. These draws were horrid, though. A lot of these in these games. Just missing a particular source. Our opponent's getting incredibly good top deck some of those games. But anyway, that just shows, though, if the deck goes 1-4 and 2-2 the week before, 2-3 the time we showed it before, I don't know if it's actually playable right now in the metagame. Anyway, this has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with the wrap-up video for this week's Playing on a Budget. I just think, I don't know, I think this is a good introductory deck. On a budget, of course. There's nothing in this deck that costs a lot. Unfortunately, we're seeing I think we're back to a standard where money is going to reign supreme. Unfortunately, with the cards that get in just seem to be starting to find their place as just such a staple. As it just does everything that a deck needs. Puts out a 2/2. can turn into an aggressive card. And it's just very hard for, I think, these budget cards to really compete with cards like Gideon and cards like Archangel of Avacyn. And I think that if you're going to go an aggro strategy, the better way to go is just still the mono white list. I thought that this could be an explosive, but we saw the biggest problem we had with this deck this week was the fixing, which I don't know. I guess just we could try some other comes into play tapped version, the white green, but then it doesn't allow us the Dragon Hunter into Warrior into Foremost explosive draw. And then we have the awkwardness of just lands coming to play tapped when we want them to come into play untapped. But I was surprised at how bad the fixing was, where we needed a double white and didn't have a double white, or needed a double green, didn't have a double green, or would have just needed one green source or one white source for the hand to go explosive and actually win. A lot of those matchups we got our opponents down to near lethal, even though the scoreboard, the life totals didn't seem that way. If we would have just got that green or that white on those particular turns, it would have been game. Silkwrap just seems inferior to Declaration in Stone, for example. I think Dromoka's Command is definitely worthwhile, but it's that a Bant shell or just a green-white shell that doesn't try to go Warriors, I think that Tireless Tracker is just superior to Arashin Foremost. You're going to get more value out of it. I still do like the Den Protector and Duskwatch Recruiter, and we didn't get to see any of the games where Arashin Foremost or a Titan-like growth on the Den Protector, and then Arashin Foremost makes it unblockable. Or just the Den Protector's clause of not being able to be blocked by creatures with power less than it. Swinging for the 6 damage double strike, being lethal on a very quick turn. So I don't know. Maybe this requires a little bit more testing. We did run this in a competitive standard, which is 12 tickets. So you're going to have decks that are more refined. They're going to be the top tier decks. And we did start to see the flavor of the week. The Bant Humans is definitely the flavor of the week. Naya Planeswalkers as well is starting to pick up speed. Didn't see any Languish decks, which is actually the problem. This deck has the most problem with Languish, as there's no way really to race out a turn 4 Languish, and without any sort of burn or haste, we do have haste in the form of Surrak, which we saw was a lot harder to actually get online than we anticipated. I think the right route to go, since we're using so many humans though, is just to cut out the Silverfur Partisan if we're going to try to go with this Warrior theme. And then we can replace it with Thalia's Lieutenant, and that way it gives the Dragon Hunters a little more game. We wouldn't need to go the Warriors either, because it allows the Thalia's Lieutenant to get the Dragon Hunter up to a 3-1. Allows us also probably to bring in like a Kytheon. I don't think there's any other Warriors at the 1-drop, unfortunately. We're really Warrior light. We could get another Warrior in the next set. The Shadows was really nice with the Silverfur Partisan and the Duskwatch Recruiter. I think these are both incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, though, that you want that subhuman theme to the deck. I mean, even Thalia's Lieutenant is strong with the Surrak the Hunt Caller. So the Titan Growth probably just wants to be a one of. I think we got too tricky with it. The testing before, we wanted every game is like, oh man, if I could draw a Titanic Growth. But there are so many games where this Titanic Growth was just a dead card. In fact, I think just like maybe even going down to like a one of Silverfur Partisan, just for that Dromoka's Command. And then, yeah, because the Gryff Boon is probably just superior as well to try to get the double strike off the Arashin Foremost. Then the trample damage off the Silverfur Partisan and the Titanic Growth. So, I don't know. It needed a lot more messing around with the quantities, seeing what we can do about the mana base, see if we can actually fix it better than what... I mean, there's really no options, though, to fix. We already having both these Canopy Vistas and Fortified Village come into play tapped quite significantly, and that's something you don't want to see in an aggro list. But I still like the idea of Surrak the Hunt Caller, but I think just going into the Collected Company is the right route. And if there's more like single target removal, like Silverfur Partisan was great versus Declaration of Stone, and great versus even like Dromoka's Commands on both sides of the equation, then it's worthwhile with the card, possibly more of a sideboard. But to make this competitive, I think Collected Company needs to be an inclusion in this deck. And then we'd have to go up in the count of like worthwhile creatures. The first of them being Thalia's Lieutenant. And then at this point, though, we're just so much into just this like human base strategy, and we can see that going into 2 colors is almost worth it just to go into 3 colors, as it's not hard to fix 3 colors in this type of format. We get Reflector Mage, which is huge. Reflector Mage actually has very good synergy with both the making pseudo unblockable for the Arashin Foremost, or just off of the collected companies, and that could be another route that could easily be tested out. The Warriors would have to go. They just were so inferior to all the chump blocks in the format, which would probably mean we wanted another strong 2 or 3 drop. I'm thinking Tireless Tracker is the right route to go. And now you can see this is just really turning into more of a humans list than anything. And then even Throbbing Inspector, I think, is still worthwhile, as it brings out a 1/2 that doesn't really have any synergy, though. Yeah, I think it would be to go into Bant to try to find a little more synergy with these. I don't think there's any Warriors in blue whatsoever. If we were to add in the blue. Okay, I guess the Skyrider Elf, that's interesting, except it doesn't hit off collected company, is a Warrior. That's strong, a 3/3 flyer for 3 in the Warrior. But unfortunately, it's dead off collected company. I'm not quite sure it's not a human, so there's that. And it doesn't work off the Thalia's Lieutenant. But I don't think the blue really adds any sort of jump to this. Not a lot of Warriors. Red offers this Relentless Hunter. But anyway, I don't know. We'd have to test around with Tireless Tracker. The more I play against this card, the more I've fallen in love with how powerful it is. And it's just the 2-drops too, with like Sylvan Advocate at the 2-drop slot, being able to grow, become a 4/5, dodge Languish later on. Those type of cards, I think, are just going to continue to outclass something like this sort of strategy. I don't know. I'm really interested in your comments in the comment section below if we can make this powerful, or if we just have to wait for Eldritch Moon to try to give us another Warrior, or another Wolf to either go full in on the Silverfur Partisan strategy or all in on the Arashin Foremost. Ideally, it'd be another Wolf Warrior like the Duskwatch Recruiter. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this match. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.